Hello, my name is Meredith Marine. I'm a social worker and a public health educator, and I've been working with youth for over 10 years in different capacities, in clinical settings, in youth programs. Most recently, I started 2 youth programs focusing on allowing high school students to have a space to organize around issues that are important to them, particularly in the health justice field. I encounter a lot of people working in the youth space and find that they're always looking for new ideas on how to get creative and how to step outside the box in their work with youth. The problem is they're coming from old models of youth work. As human beings, we tend to replicate what's been done to us or what we're used to, and we don't necessarily automatically decide to focus on new ways of working with youth. What we all have in common is that we've all been youth before. We've all grown up. We've all gone through the same life cycle stages. What we don't have in common is our experiences with adults as we were youth. And so the way that adults work with youth can vary very differently depending on what their experiences have been. I found that today's generation of youth really needs adults that are allies. This blog will focus on teaching adults how to be allies to youth. So let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about the value of discomfort. Now, all of us want to have comfortable situations in our lives. We don't necessarily seek out uncomfortable situations. That is not a normal, natural way of being. However, as many of you have grown up and become adults, you might have seen that these uncomfortable situations are what allows us to grow. And they stimulate our creative side, they stimulate our critical thinking side and our problem-solving brain and allow us to come up with solutions for our lives and to make changes. So giving youth these opportunities and showing them that we can be there for them and provide a safe space for them to be a little bit uncomfortable and allow them to reflect on those experiences is something very valuable and something that should be incorporated into all youth work. I'll give you an example. Sometimes adults will say, well, sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do. Or you may have heard an adult say to a kid, well, sometimes you just have to suck it up. The worst example of this is when I once heard a teacher say to a kid, well, I don't want to be here any more than you do, so we're both going to have to deal with it. The problem with this is that we're not trying to teach youth that they need to sustain uncomfortable experiences, because what happens is when youth are part of these uncomfortable experiences and they're taught that, well, it's just not that pleasant, but you have to stick through it, they're not taught the value of it. They're taught that it's something to tolerate and not something to learn from. So what happens is they sit there and they're there, but they're not fully present. And they turn off their brains and they don't think creatively, and they're just trying to get through it. What we as allies want to do with youth is to teach them that there's value in discomfort. Teach them that they can grow from it if they are able to stay fully present, if we're able to create a safe environment for them to grow through that experience. And that comes from being honest about our own experiences with discomfort, being honest about our insecurities, being honest about our fears, being honest about what makes us uncomfortable, particularly in interpersonal relations, in public speaking, in working with people in a way that may be different than we're used to, or in working with people who are different than us, and helping them learn from us as models to show them that we're able to get through it, but not just get through it, but be present through it, and reflect on these experiences, and then grow from them. We need to model for youth that it's okay to be part of uncomfortable experiences, and that it could even be wonderful, and that they should welcome these experiences in safe spaces because they provide opportunities for learning. So the takeaway from today is, rather than say, suck it up, or, well, we all have to do things we don't want to do, rather find out what's making the kid uncomfortable, find out what's making the teenager uncomfortable, and work with them on it, and share personal experiences about how those types of situations may have made you uncomfortable, and find out what they need from you in order to feel safe enough to learn from the experience.